Good morning. I've got a little bit of a sore throat. I don't want to get sick, but I think it's happening. Anyways, I studied chapter 13 and 14. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize talking this would hurt this much. Anyways, 13 and 14. They're short chapters, so that was really nice because I stayed up a little bit too late last night. But Isaiah, in chapter 13, talks about leaders who cause us to err. They who lead thee cause thee to err. And when I was reading that, I of course was thinking about the leaders of this nation. Mainly our representatives, people who we elect. Mitt Romney. I didn't elect him. I didn't choose him. But who say one thing and do another. Who put these false and ridiculous ideas out there and people just follow them blindly because at that moment it appeals to their feelings. And of course they're wrong. So anyways, that's just kind of the general feeling I was getting from chapter 13. And chapter 14. It talks about a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of a flaming fire by night, a place of refuge and a covert from storm and from rain. And in my supplemental it talks like that's all it talked about was this. There was nothing in my Ledlow book, but this is what all of chapter 14 in my supplemental was about. And it just talks about it talks about places of security and refuge, and how dwelling places of Zion are to be repositories of light and truth as the saints teach and live the principles of the gospel in their families. Let's see, their homes, it just talks about their homes being places of refuge and a light unto the world. And it gives a huge quote by Elder Orson Pratt about how the Lord will manifest himself in the temples by a shadow and a flaming fire. But more importantly, it talks about the places of refuge and a covert from the storm. And it talks about each stake is a defense and a refuge and a standard. And then it talks about the church as a refuge and our defense. And then it goes into the homes. Those of our descendants will be the refuge spoken of in the Revelations, the light, the standard, and the ensign for all nations, and the refuge against the gathering storms. The ensign to which all of us are to rally is Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the only begotten of the Father, whose church this is, and whose name we bear, and whose authority we carry. And then it talks about, these passages from Isaiah evoke a special set of questions of conscience for all of us. Do we express often enough in our family circles our gratitude to God that such circles of comfort and safety are possible only as a blessing from heaven? Do we recognize the privilege of assembling in congregations for worship where the Spirit can be dispensed liberally for our edification? Do we look to the temple of God as sanctuaries where the gathering is promoted with no restrictions of time and date, where the promises of eternity are fulfilled for all of God's children and God's children of all generations? How do we liken these passages passages of Isaiah to our daily lives. And then it gives a checklist. But I liked this part about, do we give thanks for the comforts and the securities that we have, such as families and church families and the gospel, and just being able to be at home and feel comfort from the world outside, and for the temple and the peace that it brings to our lives. And then I give a story about 9/11, which didn't really apply to me. But anyways, that's all I had. Yes, that's all I had. I'm reading something, sorry. Okay. Anyways, that is all I have. I will talk to you later. I'm grateful for Marco Polo. So grateful that we found it. I'm so grateful that we get to talk every single day and see each other's faces. I think I'd be terribly homesick without it. All right. Have a good day.